Sup fams, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another top 10 horror films you should watch in 2020. Coming up right now, I hope you guys enjoy the show. Alright, quiet on set. Scene 1, take 1. Action. Now, before we get onto the list, make sure you guys if you guys like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you share it with your friends, and make sure you guys hit the bell for notifications. Alright, so I'm gonna try to make this as quick as I can. So coming in at number 10, we have Creature from the Black Lagoon. I've already reviewed it. If you guys want to check it out, I'll leave a link down in the description down below, or maybe a little title or tag, whatever, around here. Overall, it's actually a damn good movie out of the Universal monster film. So I say check it out, and if you guys can see it in 3D, see it in 3D. Coming in at number 9, we have, speaking of Universal monster films, Frankenstein. Out of all of the adaptations, because Frankenstein is my favorite book of all time, out of all the adaptations, I say this one, in my opinion, is the best one so far, because it is just the most fun to watch. And as much as I enjoy the Kenneth Branagh version, because it is more closer to the novel, oh, no. In some areas, no. It's just, most areas, no, but yeah. But no, I recommend the Universal Monster 1930s classic black and white movie. Check it out. Boris Karloff is just great. Even though it's not really accurate to the novel, it's so good. I will cover the film someday, so awesome. All right, moving on. Coming in at number 8, we have It. While it's not my number one favorite Stephen King adaptation, this movie is still a masterpiece. Why? Well, because it has heart, it's funny, and when it's scary, it's scary. Even though I'm not afraid of clowns, it's just great. So, all right, moving on to number 7, we have Paranormal Activity, the original. Out of all the paranormal films, Paranormal Activity films, even though I pretty much quite enjoy the second one and third one, I say the best one is the first one. It's scary in a lot of areas when you don't expect it, and yeah, I do enjoy found footage horror films. And speaking of found footage horror films, coming in at number 6, we have The Blair Witch Project. Quite honestly, even though in my opinion, I don't think it's the first ever found footage film of all time, it could be the kind of a Holocaust. This film is just terrifying. You don't need a score, you don't need huge special effects. All you need is a cast that's convincing enough, and go out there in the woods and just make realistic sounds as you can without seeing anything supernatural. That is terrifying. And heck, even though it's not as good as the original, I still recommend you guys see Blair Witch, directed by Adam Wingard. And speaking of Adam Wingard, coming in at number 9, we have You're Next. In my opinion, it subverts expectations, and it's funny and yet freaking horrifying at the same time. Adam Wingard is the shit. Coming in at number 4, we have the last found footage film that I want to talk about for now, is the Pokmon Tapes. You can buy it now on Blu-ray from shopfactory.com, which is awesome. And really, it is an unsettling film to watch. Especially there's a scene, it's basically a movie about a killer that kept all of his tapes. Well, they try to capture him, they save one of his victims, but unfortunately they didn't catch him on time, but they find his tapes, and man, you see the tapes from his perspective. It's like you're watching a found footage horror film from the perspective of the killer, and it's just terrifying. It's like there's a scene where he kidnaps a girl, and it's just, wow, disturbing. But yeah, I highly recommend it, so check it out. All right, coming in at number 3, we have another of Andres Muschietta's films, because he did the new It movie along with Chapter 2. In my opinion, as much as I love the It films, yes, I enjoy Chapter 2 also. It's not as good as the first one, but I enjoy that. I recommend you guys check out Mama. I believe that's his first mainstream horror film. It was first a short horror film, and then it turned into a feature-length film produced by Guillermo del Toro. So it's nice to see Argentinians and Mexicans working together. Basically, a Latino production team, which, man, we rock it. And it's when you see, especially even Andres has that Latino thing where like he does not shy away by showing children in peril, much like other films. Even Guillermo del Toro, he doesn't shy away from showing children in peril too. I mean, have you seen Pan's Labyrinth? But yeah, Mama has everything. It's actually it's scary, but it's also heartwarming and sad. I love Jessica Chastain's chemistry with the little girls. It's just phenomenal. And actually, in my opinion, it has a very sad ending. So I recommend Mama. Check it out. I think that's Andres Muschietta's best film to date. Right, coming in at number 2, we have A Nightmare on Elm Street. I forgot to cover that in the last list, but I'm covering it now here. A Nightmare on Elm Street. I already reviewed it, so check it out, you guys. And it's a masterpiece. it actually is a nice little movie that shows you what's real and what's not, and it just studies the psychology of basically parents neglecting and not hearing the warnings of their children or their teenage children. And Wes Craven not just creates psychology horror stuff, but that he creates true horror by showing one of the most iconic villains of all time, Freddy Krueger. Wow, he's just terrifying, and he does his best to terrify you because fear is what gives him his power. So that's awesome. And coming in at number 1, we have Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. And this is my favorite Stephen King adaptation of all time because, well, even though that Stephen King does not like it, I still love how Stanley Kubrick takes some liberties. In my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of the book The Shining, so I like that he tries to ground it and make it look like, is Jack really? Because I mean, it's pretty, you can tell, but I also feel that Stanley also leaves it open that is Jack really going crazy or is there spirits possessing him? And it's slow, but it's so well done. It's so slow that it also drives you crazy sometimes too, just as much as Jack, or just makes it feel unsettling. That's what Stanley Kubrick wanted to give the audience. Make a movie that is unsettling, make the audience uncomfortable, make them feel like, oh, shocking to watch. And yeah, it is pretty shocking once the whole build-up comes in. But yeah, but I love how slow it is. It's slow and it's just amazing. And Jack Nicholson does a great performance. Even Shelley Duvall does a great performance. Even the kid who plays Danny Torrance is just great. I just love the theme of isolation, insanity, and paranoia too. Yeah, there's also some paranoia in it too when it comes to couples and significant, so you married couples and significant others when it comes to many cases. So yeah, that is my list for for top 10 horror films you should watch in 2020. Yeah, I wanted to make one more video, but I'll just save it for next month. Even though that Halloween's gonna be over very soon, pretty much tomorrow, I'm still gonna cover some horror films that I didn't get a chance to cover yet. Yeah, I wanted to cover An American Wolf in London, but I couldn't on time. I also wanted to tell you some story times of my favorite movie theater experience, but I'm saving it for next month. So don't worry, you guys. If there's horror films that you wanted me to cover this year, even the requested ones, I'm covering it next month. Don't worry, you guys, aside from covering new films. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much. This is Javi from High Productions signing up, and hope you guys enjoyed the show.